Shalom, Kohala, Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Racha, Kadash. Double honors to the apostles, elders, and bishops of the great millstone who do rule and teach well. Peace and blessings, salutations, Yahweh Bahashem Yahweh Shai, Barakatham, decency, Akim, Wa'akwath, keeping the faith and diligence of our Lord Yahweh Shai, occupying the prophecies, until Lord will, all is fulfilled, and we are redeemed. So this is another news and prophecy in the spirit going into world events to demonstrate that the words of the Heavenly Father, Yahweh Bashmel Shai, are indeed faithful and true. And the prophecy is coming to pass in this time. This is why we go into these events and plug it back in to biblical prophecy to show you that we're in that time where things are happening. Things are progressively moving forward very fast. As it says in Matthew, the 24th chapter, that if it were not for the sake of the elect, no flesh would be saved. So we're in that time where the Lord is hastily speeding up the days. He's making things happen fast, and this is the time to be especially vigilant and pay attention to the signs of the times, because the Lord say that He would give us signs before the end would come. So this is why you have the watchmen, the prophets, set up in this time to relay these things to you, so that you stay firm in the spirit and increase your faith and diligence towards the Lord in this time. So what we seeing happen, especially in America, Babylon the Great, and across the earth right now, is there's a great push to implement a one world government. And see, this is being headed by Esau. All right, which Esau, he has a God complex. Everything he's looking to do, he's tainting the food, he's patenting the food, he's taking jobs away. He's messing with the air. Chemtrails are being sprayed heavy right now. He's looking to restrict travel. He basically wants to control your life. All right, he wants to bring about a carbon tax to measure how much carbon that you use a day. This is a very oppressive system that's coming down the pipe. And all of this is predicated upon his God complex, him seeking to be like the Most High. All right. So this man is literally trying to become God. And when you go to Isaiah 14th chapter, check this out. Isaiah 14, we'll start at about 11. Isaiah 14 and 11. Thy pomp goes into pride, is brought down to the grave, and the noise of thy idols. The worm is spread under thee, and the worms cover thee. How art thou fallen from heaven, O Lucifer, son of the morning? How art thou cut down to the ground, which didst weaken the nations? And this here is not speaking about the spiritual being Satan. This is speaking about Esau, Edom. All right. And when it says, how art thou fallen from heaven, heaven also goes into being in our rulership. For example, we are in Esau's heaven right now. This is his rule upon the earth. Donald Trump even said it when a reporter asked him, do you think you'll get into heaven? And he said, I don't think there's anything that can get me into heaven. He said, I think this is my heaven right now, meaning that this is his time to rule. This is his time to have a good upon the earth. But what do the scriptures say? How art thou cut down to the ground? So the Most High is going to bring this man down, take him out of heaven, his position of rulership, and bring him down to the ground, meaning that he's going to have no name in the street. This man is going to be base when it's all said and done, which didst weaken the nations. And that's what Esau do. Currently, right now, he's going all around the earth and just what? Making war, going into nations, falsely accusing them, taking their resources, just bombing people to smithereens, man. This is what Esau is doing. Verse 13, for thou hast said in thine heart, I will ascend into heaven, I will exalt my throne above the stars of the Most High. I will sit also upon the mount of the congregation in the sides of the north. I will ascend above the heights of the clouds. I will be like the Most High. You see? So this is what he is saying in his heart. All right? For thou hast said in thine heart, man. So this is his inward desire. And this is what he's moving to do in the earth right now, man. All right? So all the things we'll get into today through the Spirit is to show you that the way this man is moving, he's really trying to become the Most High. All right? This is literally his mission. And the culmination of that mission will be this NWO, all right, in which he will have full control over the people. He wants you to get a chip inserted into your right hand or into your brain where he'll be able to track you, know what you're thinking. You know, he'll be able to know that you're sick even before you know that you're sick. That's the kind of power that this man wants to have. But it's not through spiritual means. It's not through natural means. It's through what? Artificial means, all right? All right, which the root word of artificial is what? Artificer. Okay? Which Esau, he's the top artificer on the earth. This man is a master at creating falsehoods. Okay? So this is what this man is on. And every day that goes by, he's only getting exposed more and more. All right, but we got to pay attention to what Esau got going on and what the heathen got going on as well, because they're joined to this man. All right, but with this whole government shutdown going on, this is pretty much collapsing the economy. A lot of businesses are being affected because they're not getting that, government stimulus. You know, they're not receiving that SNAP money and things of that nature. A lot of car depots are getting hit hard. Food banks are getting hit because people not getting their benefits, or they're not sure when it's going to come. So food banks are running dry. More people are getting laid off. More businesses are closing down. And automation and AI is stepping in to quote unquote save the day. All right. So Atlanta's Hartsfield-Jackson airport among 40 where the FAA is reducing flights. All right, so in the midst of this government shutdown, Trump announced yesterday that they would be restricting the flight volume by 10%, and this is going to affect 40 airports across the country. So going into this holiday season, it's about to be very chaotic to fly, and a lot of people are not going to be flying. But what's the end of all this? He wants to control your movement. He don't want people to travel and go about freely as they do now. All right, there's going to be major restrictions. And when he does, bring back some type of normalcy to this system, you're going to have to get a digital ID, and ultimately you're going to have to opt in to biometrics so that they know who you are, who's moving where. Again, this is a system of control that's being rolled out. This is what all of this is leading to. So, let's check this out.
Now, day 37 of the government shutdown, thousands of travelers could be impacted if a deal isn't reached soon. The FAA says it's going to start reducing flights at Hartsfield-Jackson Atlanta International Airport tomorrow. And we know that Delta Airlines is already being proactive. Atlanta News First Niamani Watson joins us live from the airport. All of this has to do with staffing shortages, Niamani.
Yeah, that's right. Air traffic controllers who are federal employees are still not being paid during this shutdown. Hartsfield-Jackson is one of 40 major airports facing these cuts. The FAA says it will reduce flights by 10% to maintain air travel safety. Experts believe hundreds, if not thousands, of flights could be canceled. Delta, Hartsfield-Jackson's largest airline hub, released a statement this morning saying it's complying with the FAA to reduce flights. The airline says it does expect to operate majority of its flights as scheduled, including long international flights. Now, United Airlines says its regional flights and some domestic flights will be impacted, but international and hub-to-hub flying will not. Next week, air traffic controllers will miss their second full paycheck if the shutdown continues. President of the National Air Traffic Controllers Association union says more employees may have to call out of work.
They're not calling in sick. They're calling in saying, I don't have child care today. What do you want me to do? I can't pay for it. I can't pay for the gas and I can't pay for my utilities. Pass the legislation, pay the air traffic controllers and all the federal employees, and let us continue doing the amazing job that we do.
Yeah, so under this Trump regime, everybody losing, everybody hurting. All right. And this is going to be, because you have a lot of TSA agents, they not getting paid. Air traffic controllers, they're not getting paid either, which they're an essential part of the travel industry. You know what I'm saying? Because you have to have air traffic controllers to be able to direct the planes, make sure the plane lands safety, and make sure that all protocols are going, as outlined. You know what I'm saying? But if they not there, they calling out. People ain't showing up to work. Flying becomes very dangerous, and there can be potentially much more accidents and casualties happening within that. So that's why now they're saying, okay, well, we're going to reduce the volume of flights by 10% at all these airports. You know what I'm saying? But eventually they're going to tell you you can't travel at all. All right. That's what they're going to come with next, because this government shutdown is not going to end within this week or next week. All right. They plan to drag this thing out as long as they possibly can, because the longer that they drag this thing out, the more messed up that the economy becomes, the more chaotic that things become, which is what they want. This that classic mantra of order ab chaos. Okay, bring the disorder, the chaos, and then bring in your new order. Okay, which is going to be in the form of tyranny, digital surveillance, and ultimately a digital technocracy. All right, this is what's coming upon the earth. FAA says it's cutting thousands of flights a day starting this week due to shutdown. Here's the list of airports where flights are set to be reduced, and this is going to affect a lot of cargo, it's coming in from overseas. This is going to affect the holiday season and the amount of volume of, goods that's coming in as well. People that travel for work and things of that nature, they're also going to be affected. So this is affecting more than just the aviation travel industry, man. This is pretty much affecting everything. Flight capacity will be reduced by 10% at 40 major airports, right? So these are some major cuts, man. And when you go here, global stock markets on verge of correction as AI bubble fears mount. You see? And we know that we're in the midst of a Great Depression right now. We've been in a recession for years, but we're really at the verge of a Great Depression, to where the stock market, really any day now can collapse. You see, and this is why you have these major investors into the banks and the stocks. They're pulling out their assets, and they're buying, gold. They're buying silver. All right, they're hoarding cash. You know what I'm saying? Why? Because the global markets are in free fall right now. And this is a major indicator that a great correction is coming. A great reset, should I say, is coming. So reading some of this. Come on, man. Do this every time, man. Man, let's see if we can do this. Salakia. Okay. Global stock markets fall sharply over AI bubble fears. It says global stock markets have fallen sharply amid concerns that a boom in valuations of AI companies could be rapidly cooling. Markets in the US, Asia, and Europe have fallen after bank bosses warned a serious stock market correction could be ahead. You see this? So the banks, and you've been having the likes of Gerald Celente and Richard Wolff and Jamie Dimon, individuals that are high, into finances and the banking sector. They've been telling you for years that look, we're on the verge of a collapse. The stock market is not looking too good, and that that there is going to be a correction, major correction coming ahead. It's going to shake everything up. You see? So the bank bosses are warning that a major correction is coming to the stock market after a run of record stock market highs led some companies to appear overvalued. In the US, the tech-focused NASDAQ and the SP 500 on Tuesday suffered their largest one-day percentage drop in almost a month. Technology shares pulled the NASDAQ lower, which resulted in its closing 2% down. Meanwhile, there were one-day falls for all of the quote-unquote magnificent 7 AI-related stocks, including the chip maker NVIDIA, Amazon, Apple, Microsoft, Tesla, Alphabet, and Meta. Okay, which all of these individuals, all these companies are pretty much they're in on this fourth industrial revolution. You know what I'm saying? And that's why they're laying off like there's no tomorrow, because they're rapidly replacing people with AI. You see, S&P also closed down just over 1% as it lost ground because of tech stocks, particularly the data analytics company Palantir, which slumped by almost 8% despite having raised its revenue outlook the previous day. And that Palantir, that's going to be a part of how they're going to, surveil the internet, surveil society, with pretty much anybody that dissents or that's basically going to be like detecting crime before it happens. You know what I'm saying? That's the excuse that they're using to implement this thing, because of all these school shootings that you've seen this year, people making threats online and leaving manifestos, that type of thing. They want to put the Palantir in a position to prevent these type of things, but we know that's some BS. That ain't what it's about. This is about ushering in the fourth industrial revolution and you being surveilled 24/7, you having no more privacy, So then when you go here, right, people, the banks are acting weird, you know what I'm saying? Seen brothers put out videos on this, heavy, you know what I'm saying? People going to the bank, they trying to withdraw their money. I even had a brother on the comment board say that he tried to go to withdraw some money out the bank one day and they wouldn't let him. All right. So you have to know that eventually these banks are going to go under. We've been telling you this for a long time, starting with the elders and apostles, you know what I'm saying, that the day is going to come, and it's already happened in other countries. It happened in Cuba. It happened in Australia. It's happened in Europe. You know what I'm saying? It's happened in South American nations. Because you have to understand, this is a global, worldwide reset, man. So the banks are the ones that hold the money. You see what I'm saying? But people now are going to the banks. They looking to take out money. They either getting questioned or the money's not there, which, that's fractional reserve banking. Like if you have 20,000 in your bank account and you go to withdraw some money, more than likely you're not going to get the full 20,000. They might give you 5, you know what I'm saying? But they're going to tell you that, okay, yeah, we have to order the rest because we don't have it in a reserve. You know what I'm saying? Because these banks, they don't hold all that cash like that. So what's going to happen in a scenario where the system crashes, the banks collapse, the grid goes down, and people want to go and get their money out? Then they're not going to be able to. See, but they got to keep this on the hush hush right now, because if people know what's really going on with these banks, people going to make major runs on the banks, take their money out, and that's going to hurt the banks, So this is what's happening. People's money is being played with. People are getting locked out of their accounts and things of that nature. So this is an omen of things to come, man. Things about to get real serious here in Babylon the Great very soon. Check it out.
For more than a month, he couldn't access his own money. $42,000 frozen. He says he was dealing with delays and unclear answers from the bank, so he turned to the I-Team. Jim Gibson says he was stunned when Chase Bank suddenly locked him out of his account, blocking him from money he needed to pay bills and cover living expenses.
I opened my Chase account on July 7th of this year.
Gibson says the mysterious freeze happened at the end of July, shortly after he took out a large sum of money.
I got an email from Chase informing me that my account had been suspended with no explanation as to why it was suspended, directing me.
And real quick, just a few months ago, right, Trump signed the Genius Act into law. All right, which, matter of fact, let's see if we can get a summary of that real quick. A summary of Genius Act. All right. What does what does the Genius Act do? The Genius Act creates a clear regulatory framework for dollar-backed payment stablecoin, which is another word for a central bank digital currency. Issuers that can help stablecoin payment companies, traditional financial institutions, and consumers navigate stablecoins with more clarity. All right, and they've been going back and forth in the Congress of when and how to implement this Genius Act, which just a few months ago, they unveiled like a gold statue of Trump holding a Bitcoin outside the White House. So that right there, these devils are pretty much telling you what's about to happen. All right, because when Trump first came in, he was against the CBDC, Like he said he was against the central bank digital currency. It would never happen in America, but now he's changed up his tune. All right, now he's championing the stable coin, because right now the dollar is not stable. Like the stocks are up and down. It's not stable. And that's why just a few days ago, this past weekend, the Fed pumped like $29 billion into the stocks, to stabilize it, meaning that this dollar is going to crash any day now. All right. They just trying to keep it propped up until they're ready to let it fall. But the stock market is going to crash again, just like it did in 1929. And from that, it's going to be another reset. It's going to be another Great Depression from that. So a lot of people is about to suffer behind what these devils are about to do, man. All right. But best believe that Genius Act, the stable coin, and ultimately the digital dollar is going to come into effect very soon. More than likely towards the end of this year, going into early 2026, they definitely going to roll this thing out, man, because now is the time. But let's continue.
To go to the local Chase branch.
Gibson says the teller told him Chase restricted his account to help protect against fraud. He says he never got a further explanation, but was told he'd received the $42,000 in his account within 10 days.
I had $42,000 sitting in that Chase account.
Gibson says weeks later that check still hadn't come. Bills were mounting up and he panicked.
Running up a credit card balance, extremely stressful.
So he reached out to me. The I-team contacted Chase and Gibson quickly got his money.
I'm extremely grateful to you, Jason, for intervening, breaking the logjam, got my money, restored all my auto debits.
Chase tells the I-team to help protect against fraud, we restricted Mr. Gibson's account. After additional review and communication, we released the funds and regret the delay in that process. For privacy and security reasons, that's all the information we can disclose. Gibson says he was not a victim of fraud when he took that money out. However, banks can freeze and restrict accounts if they believe you're a victim or if you're mysteriously withdrawing large sums of money. It's all to protect customers, but Gibson calls it a huge hassle.
It was an absolute living nightmare daily.
To avoid getting an account frozen for fraud, you may want to notify your bank before making a large transaction. You may even want to explain the withdrawal to a teller so they don't think you're the victim of an ongoing romance or confidence scam. The local man said,
and all this fraud that's been happening, because there has been a lot of fraud, with banks and people getting money taken out. But guess what? Guess what these banks are doing about it? Guess what the American government is doing about it? Absolutely nothing. They're allowing it to happen. You see? I remember going into a lesson on that about a month and a half ago, probably. But yeah, they're allowing it to happen because they want this crisis to become so rampant, so widespread that there's going to be a need to implement biometrics and digital ID so that you can verify whose account this is, who was tied to, and what you're using it for. All right. So again, order out of chaos, man. This is Esau's playbook right here. You know, that's why you have to be very privy to what this devil got going on, because all of his devices are leading towards one direction, right? But in the event that something catastrophic happens and people panic and they want to go and take their money out the bank, they're not going to be able to, because all they got to do is freeze your account, or they can just completely erase your account, like how they did in Vietnam with 86 million bank accounts. They just completely wiped them out, no longer exists. And they said, yeah, if you want to get it back, you got to opt in to biometrics. So this is where it's going. This is what Esau about to do. You know what I'm saying? He's about to hard reset the system, and you're going to have to get down. All right, if you want to, get your money back, and see, these people, they got thousands of dollars in their accounts, man. You know what I'm saying? Millions. So they going to want that money back. You know what I'm saying? Brothers like us, we ain't working with no, 100,000, 50,000. You know what I'm saying? We have very little in these banks, man. So, when these banks crash, hey, to hell with it. You know what I'm saying? We ain't got nothing in there anyway. All right. But the temptation is going to be great for people that have amassed wealth in these banks, because they're going to desire to get back what they lost. You know what I'm saying? They're going to seek to save their life. And the scriptures say he who seek to save his life, the same shall lose it. All right. So, yeah, this is what's happening. Let's go to the book of Zephaniah, chapter 1. All right. Because all these merchants, man, all these people about to mourn here in a minute. Zephaniah 1 in verse 9. In the same day also will I punish all those that leap on the threshold, which fill their master's house with violence and deceit. And it shall come to pass in that day, saith the Lord, that there shall be the noise of a cry from the fish gate, and an howling from the second, and a great crashing from the hills. Howl, ye inhabitants of Maktesh, for all the merchant people are cut down, all they that bear silver are cut off. And when you go into Maktesh, that was basically like the ancient stock trade, you know what I'm saying, like the Phoenician quarter in or around Jerusalem, where, a lot of trade was going on. Gold and silver was being moved, assets and things of that nature. The scriptures say to howl, okay, which means to mourn, you know what I'm saying, prepare for suffering. The inhabitants of Maktesh, man, for all the merchant people, all the businesses, so all people that are, locked into the system with the government, private contractors, you know what I'm saying, people that farm, hey man, all they that bear silver are being cut off. You know what I'm saying? The wealth gap between the rich and the poor is becoming even more pronounced. All right, because what they doing now is they pretty much getting rid of the middle class. And even Klaus Schwab told you that. He told you that years ago. He said that we must narrow the gap, or widen the gap, I believe he said, between the rich and the poor. All right, meaning that the rich are going to get richer and the poor are going to become more poor. All right, and those that were in the middle, now they are relegated to being poor. And you see it on TikTok, like people talking about they having to sell their car, they having to sell their home, downsize to an apartment because they can't afford all the fees, the taxes, the HOAs, and all that other type of stuff. Insurance is crazy, Insurance is basically scamming people. Like if a hurricane come through and slam your house, they won't even try to pay you out. Like they'll try to find every loophole in the book to not give you the money to get your house taken care of, man. But yet you paying all this money, thousands of dollars a year, for some damn insurance, but you don't file no claims and it goes up every single year. Complete scam. But this is the world that we live in, man. Under the unrighteous ruler, which is Esau Edom. All right, yeah. Let's get that in the NLT. Zephaniah 1 and 10 in the NLT. And it says, on that day, says the Lord, a cry of alarm will come from the fish gate and an echo throughout the new quarter of the city. And a great crash will sound from the hills. All right, and that's going to be the crash of all the trade, the crash of all the money moving, man. The crash of the stock market. Verse 11, wail in sorrow, all you who live in the market area, for all the merchants and traders will be destroyed. See, so this is what's coming to America, man, because what was then is now. And we see that America is coming up upon a financial collapse that's going to pretty much, reset everything, put everybody back to ground zero except the elites, you know? So when you go here, construction sector looks to humanoid robots as labor shortages intensify, says McKinsey. So with this economy going under, you have a lot of protests going on, people talking about they want more money, that like they want more benefits because the cost of everything around them continues to go up while their paychecks stay the same. And you have to understand that these elites, they don't give a damn about the people. All right. They look at you as goyim. All right. Useless eaters, cattle. All right. Objects to be controlled and manipulated to their desire. And the fact that you have a lot of people angry now, which Klaus Schwab told you as well, that we must prepare for a more angrier world. People are angry. All right. People got bills to pay. The government been shut down for over a month. People missing paychecks. People missing meals. You see, people have no hope no more. People crashing out. So instead of accommodating people and making life, more feasible for them, this is the answer. All right, F you, and we're going to replace your ass with AI and robots to do the job since you want to complain so goddamn much. All right, that's ESO's attitude, man. So they even now are about to put humanoid robots into doing construction. So as we tell you, man, very soon nobody will have a job. Okay, even blue collar jobs will very soon be a thing of the past. You see, the global construction industry is accelerating efforts to adopt humanoid robots as it grapples with a persistent productivity slump and ongoing labor shortages. And right now, with the raids they doing with ICE, you have a lot of migrants, Northern Kingdom, that came over. They do a lot of construction and farming and things of that nature. You know what I'm saying? But ICE is coming around and grabbing them up off the work site, grabbing them up off the farm. All right, so what I'm saying, you can go on TikTok, YouTube, like people show you like a lot of these places where there was a lot of work being done by Northern Kingdom. Now that's not happening so much, man. You know what I'm saying? And the average American is not built, to do construction. All right. So the fact that there's a demand in construction, that there's not the labor force there to meet that demand, well, this is where the AI and robotics comes in. But this has all been orchestrated. This has all been set up by the devil. All right. Ongoing labor shortages. In a note emailed to Robotics and Automation News, a spokesperson for McKinsey highlighted the pressure facing the sector. It says, stuck in a cycle of meager productivity growth rates, which stood at 0.4% from 2000 to 2022, and with talent pools continuing to thin, it isn't surprising to see that the construction industry is struggling to keep up with demand and is leaving no stone unturned in hopes of innovation. And, this is more beneficial for these companies because AI don't need a 401k. AI don't need a lunch break. AI don't need a 2-week vacation. You know what I'm saying? AI doesn't care how much it gets paid an hour. All right. AI doesn't call out sick. AI doesn't protest. So they would rather invest the money into these humanoid robots and roll them out. And no doubt they're going to get these robots very cheap. You know what I'm saying? They're going to get them cheap. And these things are going to be rolled out. And not only construction, you know what I'm saying? Now they got self-driving trucks. AI is driving trucks now. So a lot of truckers are about to be out of work. You know what I'm saying? They have self-driving AI, Ubers and Lyft and all that. So Very soon, we're they plan on having a world that is run by AI. All right, you're gonna have robot police. You're gonna have robot dogs. Okay, you're gonna pull up at McDonald's and it's gonna be a damn robot taking your order. You know, even now it's some fast food spots. You know what I'm saying? Like you pull up to the drive-through, instead of an actual person talking to you taking your order, now it's AI. Now it's a damn robot taking your order, and they be getting that shit wrong too. You know what I'm saying? You be having to backtrack, but this is the world that these devils want. Okay, Esau, he's creating life in his own image. Okay, again, he wants to be like the Most High. You know what I'm saying? Because you have these robots. You know, they look like human beings. You know what I'm saying? Like, not this one particularly, but you know what I'm saying, you have robots that have human like skin, like they got the hair, the eyelashes, the eyes, you know what I'm saying, everything like a human, but it's a damn robot. And it kind of remind me of Dragon Ball Z, you know what I'm saying, where they had the androids, you know what I'm saying? They were really like robots, or like half and half, but they look human. This is where Esau's going with it. At the same time, demand for new housing and infrastructure is rising, while experienced workers retire and fewer young people enter the field, deterred by physical risk and uncertain career prospects. Humanoid robots designed to navigate human-built spaces and use human tools could close that gap if developers can overcome challenges in mobility, dexterity, safety, and regulatory approval. The report suggests humanoids could initially support workers with simple, repetitive tasks such as preparing tools, unloading materials, or cleaning work areas until they take your job altogether. Tasks like drywall installation, painting, and interior finishing are cited as early candidates, particularly in structured or repetitive environments like high-rise housing projects. Okay, so like Elon Musk told you, very soon there will be very few jobs that robots won't be able to do. So that's why he suggested what? Universal basic income to cover that need. Because, with millions of people out of work, they're going to come in and quote unquote save the day and say, yeah, well, we got some universal basic income for you. Only thing is, you have to opt in to digital ID and biometrics to receive it, And we continuously touch on these topics because you need to understand what's coming down the pipe. You know what I'm saying? So you can build yourself up in the spirit to be able to walk away from this system when these things are presented. You know what I'm saying? Because that goes into Revelation 3 and 10, the hour of temptation, which is going to come upon all the world. Let's grab that real quick. Revelation chapter 3 and verse 10 in the NLT. Because you have obeyed my command to persevere, I will protect you from the great time of testing that will come upon the whole world to test those who belong to this world. You see? So that's why you're not supposed to put your trust and your faith in this world, man, because when that test comes, if you love the world, then you're going to go with the world and you're going to be destroyed. All right? Because we understand that we're coming into that time where we're going to have to completely walk away from everything. You know what I'm saying? Like the Lord got us set up right now to where we're still functioning within the system, but the time is going to come where we're going to have to completely separate. You know what I'm saying? Because when this man bring the chip and he says, yeah, well, you got to get this to do X, Y, Z, we're going to be like, man, hell no. That's when you know what I'm saying, you're going to have to walk on faith and trust in the Lord to provide for us. You know what I'm saying? You should already have that in your mind already, to where taking the mark is not even an option. You know what I'm saying? To where you shouldn't even fear the mark being presented. Like your spirit should be built up enough to where when this man present the mark, you know what I'm saying, you should already have the mindset of, man, hell no. All right. I ain't about to take no chip. I ain't about to put nothing inside my body. I ain't doing that. It should be no worry. It should be no doubt, because again, these are things that we read in the scriptures that are going to come. So knowing that this is the will of the Lord for these things to be presented, what mindset should you be in? Because when Esau bring out the mark, what are you going to do? It's like, okay, he tell you, okay, well, you can't work, you can't da-da-da, whatever. You know that this is from the Lord. You know that this is the hour of temptation. So the simple answer is, to hell with this world. That's why we are not attached to the things we have here. This is temporary, man. You know what I'm saying? This is not our rest. We're moving on to a greater glory. But this hour of testing must come. So this, this is what it is. Verse 11, I am coming soon. Hold on to what you have so that no one will take your crown. All right. Going here. Food banks see long lines amid mixed messages over SNAP funding. All right. So now you having a lot of people hit up these food banks, because the SNAP ain't coming in, or they're not sure how they're going to feed themselves, or if they're going to get SNAP at all, because Trump, he pretty much came out and said, I'm not giving nobody nothing until the Democrats end the shutdown. All right. Went into that the other day. Because at first, a judge, like I think October 31st, the judge came out and said that it's pretty much unconstitutional, or it's illegal, something like that, for Trump to not give out the benefits, which they did it last time. So what's the problem now? Which tells you that this is an agenda that's rolling out here, because there's no reason why they shouldn't be giving out SNAP. Like SNAP should not be affected because the government is shut down, because that's that's pretty much like a state thing. You know what I mean? I mean, it's federally funded, but states also have reserves they put into it, man. But now they got to dip into a contingency fund, that's going to deplete. You know what I mean? So, people are not sure how they're going to eat. And this is a crucial time, like the holiday season, you know what I'm saying? People love their Thanksgiving. They like to get their honey glazed ham, like to get their honey glazed ham, they, turkey, you know what I'm saying? All kind of, shrimp and crab, and, all kind of abomination that people love to eat this time of year. You know what I mean? Then you got Christmas coming up as well, same thing. So for the holidays, man, people about to be hurt here in Babylon the Great. And you already see that people are going to, great lengths to eat, all right? And it's famine, because a famine is coming upon this land, okay? The farmers are not being funded, so they're going bankrupt every day in mass numbers, So without the farmers, you can't have a functioning society. And this is judgment from the Lord, man, because people in America eat too damn much. That's the problem. That's why everybody here is damn overweight, bugged out their damn mind. You see? Because people are what? They overindulge. All right. People don't fast. They, they don't know anything about moderation. One thing about it, these Americans, they have no discipline, man. All right. These are the most undisciplined people that I've ever witnessed. You tell you tell your average American to not eat for half the day, they can't do it. All right. They gonna fold it. They gonna fold at the 5-minute mark. Like, oh shit, I gotta eat something. That's how these people are, man. They're very in tune with the flesh. You see, and this is why when all the food runs dry, these people are gonna turn into animals. All right, these people will tap into that fleshly, savage, animalistic nature to survive. All right, but yeah, the food banks are overwhelmed, and very soon, not even the food banks will have food, man. Everywhere is going to be dry, and we'll get that in 2nd Ezra 6. But check this out.
Hard trying to keep shelves stocked and get groceries to people desperate for food as the government shutdown continues and CalFresh or SNAP food aid is still not flowing.
The line has been literally down the street every day. It's a great need. We can hardly keep our refrigerator stocked. It's going out as fast as it comes in.
Outside in that line, we found Sarah, a mother and wife of a government employee who she says hasn't been paid in more than 1 month.
We are living like for savings, things we have, and try to make it work.
Sarah says her husband is an air traffic controller. They moved to Oakland last year. She learned of the food pantry through her daughter's school, and she says they have almost spent all of their savings just trying to stay afloat.
We have a mortgage, we have all the bills we have every month. He's been going to work every day, so with gas and everything. But we hope the government open again soon.
On Tuesday, President Trump said on social media he would not fund SNAP or food assistance programs until the government reopens. But later, the White House spokesperson said they are complying with the federal judge's orders to use contingency funds for the 1 in 8 Americans who receive food assistance. The average benefit is just $190 a month, and it could take days or even weeks before debit cards can be reloaded for November.
So they saying $190 a month. All right, now you think about that. You got a family of 4. What the hell is $190 going to do? All right, to keep that family fed. So even the money that they are giving out, because people not getting the full benefit. You know what I'm saying? People are not getting what they was getting before. So they saying now it's $190 that you're going to get, and this could take weeks to even receive that. And $190 in SNAP is really not no type of money, man. So, these people are in for a world of pain and suffering coming. You know what I'm saying? And really, they already feeling it. But, this is the judgment of Yahweh Bashmil Shai, man, upon the proud inhabitants of Babylon the Great. Because, again, these people are used to overindulging. They're used to being overly fed, just being able to eat at will. You see? And the Lord is putting an end to that. When you go to 2 Ezra 8 in verse 50, right? It say, for many great miseries shall be done to them that in the latter time shall dwell in the world, because they have walked in great pride. You know what I'm saying? So because people have walked in great pride, they've continuously blasphemed the Lord. They've shunned the Bible. You know what I'm saying? They've shunned the Lord's men. All right, now great miseries are coming upon them. Okay, and this is going to be the contrast right here. You know what I'm saying? When you get, let's get that in the KJV. When you get Jeremiah 65, right, it tell you that the Lord's servants shall eat. You know what I'm saying? And those that don't serve the Lord, that they're going to be, it's like they're going to be confounded. Okay, Jeremiah. Why does it keep going to 52? 65, there we go. Oh, Salakia. I'm typing in Jeremiah. Isaiah 65, Salakia. All right, Isaiah 65. And, verse 13. Therefore, thus saith the Lord Yahweh, behold, my servants shall eat, but ye shall be hungry. Behold, my servants shall drink, but ye shall be thirsty. Behold, my servants shall rejoice, but ye shall be ashamed. Behold, my servants shall sing for joy of heart, but ye shall cry for sorrow of heart, and shall howl for vexation of spirit. And ye shall leave your name for a curse unto my chosen, for the Lord Yahweh Bashmel Shai shall slay thee and call his servants by another name. Okay, so the Lord is going to feed those that are his, those that are seeking him, those that have repented. All right, those that are in his good graces, but those that are of the world, those people that are out here, trusting in their own strength and trying to make a way for themselves. Hey, the Lord is going to leave them out there. And this is why you see things like this, people having to be lined up, lines wrapped around the block just to get some food from the food bank. All right, these are what do you call it, these houses, or shelters where homeless people go to get a room for the night. Them places are all booked up. A lot of them places are going out of business, man, because they're not getting the funding. So everywhere you look, it's nothing but hell, coming to these people in Babylon the Great. All right. Hey, it's well deserved.
On Tuesday, the Alameda County Community Food Bank opened new pop-up tents to help anyone in need of food.
This is day one at this location, and so far we've provided food to over 140 different families. We have pop-ups at 4 different Alameda County Social Services Agency locations.
Thanks God for the food.
This Oakland resident, moved to tears, had only been eating 1 meal a day.
I lost my job, and I was sick for a couple of months because I expired by me, and I cannot work at the time.
They could just call 211.
And this is what I'm talking about, man. You know that's a nigga right there. Hold on. Run that back. This ain't what I'm talking about right here. Look at this. That's a whole grown ass man right there. All right. Wearing women's apparel. All right. Just straight up bugged out. These are the people. These are the type of people that are out here struggling and hurting in this time, man. Just completely bugged out, completely off. Okay. These are the people that the Lord got out there. So, as we just read in Isaiah 65, man, my servant shall eat. All right. But everybody else, they what? They going through great miseries. All right. The Lord does not approve of this right here, man. But this is what Babylon the Great breeds: confusion. All right. The prefix in the word Babylon, which is Babal, means confusion. This is the land of confusion, man. All right, you got men dressing like women, women dressing like men, women with masculine, testosterone energy, and you got some weak ass bitch boys out here too. All right. So this place is all out of order, and this is the correction that the Lord is bringing.
Meal a day.
I lost my job, and I was sick for a couple of months because I expired by me, and I cannot work at the time.
They could just call 211, and they'll get connected with a representative that can kind of talk through their situation and help them figure out what support they might need.
In Oakland, Jana Katsuyama, KTVU, Fox 2 News.
Yeah, through. You know what I'm saying? Oregon food banks overwhelmed as SNAP benefits halt amid federal shutdown. Food providers in Oregon are sounding the alarm as the abrupt halt of supplemental nutrition assistance, or SNAP benefits, has left many residents in dire straits. See? So people are out here in dire straits, man. They don't know what the hell is going to happen tomorrow. They don't know how they're going to eat. The Oregon Department of Human Services confirmed that no SNAP benefits have been issued in the state due to the ongoing federal government shutdown. The Department of Agriculture has stated it cannot distribute benefits during the shutdown. So not even the Department of Agriculture is going to distribute benefits. Now, we'll see what happens if people actually get something, because we know how Esau do. Like, he's good for saying one thing and then retracting his statements. Okay, that's how the devil do. Despite a judge's ruling that the Trump administration must use emergency funds to partially fund SNAP benefits, the ODHS reported that this has not yet occurred. So it's yet to be seen if people receive their benefits, but knowing these devils, people might not get nothing at all. All right. Look at that. Lines wrapped around the block. Okay. Look at that, man. People out here hurt. Let's move on here. All right. Australia to require age verification when using search engines. And see, this is this news coming out yesterday, right? So now Australia, they're requiring you to implement biometrics into, if you want to get on the internet. All right. And they out there doing that in Australia, because Australia, that's another testing ground for what the elites want to do worldwide, because Australia is pretty much already like a surveillance state. You know what I'm saying? Like, if you remember back during the pandemic, they was super draconian out there. Like, they was putting people in camps if they spoke out against the what, or if they exposed certain information about the truth of the whole ordeal. All right, but people out there, they ain't got guns and stuff like that, so they pretty much do what they want with them people. But getting into this, says, beginning in December, Australians will be required to verify their age to use search engines like Google and Bing. Users will have to scan their face or do an identity check, which is biometrics going into digital ID, when using the search engine as a logged in user. So now you're gonna have to log in just to search something on Google. Crazy, right? The changes are a result of industry code, not rule changes from the country's parliament, according to The Guardian. The tech industry develops the codes, then the e-safety commissioner, an unelected official, registers them in a process called co-regulation. The change is expected to take effect on December 27th. All right, which we've been saying through the spirit that more than likely they're gonna do something. Maybe towards the end of this month, mid December to late December, going into 26, so that way they can have good precedent to implement these measures, man. 'Cause this is in Australia. They doing the same thing in UK. They're doing the same thing in other European countries, and they're gonna do the same thing right here in America. Why? Because this is a global push for digital surveillance. All right, which all of this is leading again to the chip. Revelation 13 to 16 on down. All right, and they're gonna cut off your ability to buy and sell if you don't want to get with it. All right. According to the Australian Broadcasting Corporation, Google and its rival Microsoft will be required to implement some form of age assurance technology by December 21st. So this is going to be a law. All right, they're going to be required to implement this. If the companies fail to comply, they could face fines of up to nearly 50 million per breach. And see, when they do this in America, businesses initially are not going to be on board, but once they get hit with these fines and they get hit with, they're going to tell them, okay, well, you can't, do this, that, the third. If you don't do this, then everybody going to have to get with it, man. So it's going to be a complete system overhaul that these elite devils are going to perform. So 50 million, they're going to fine companies if they don't want to get with the program. All right. The new regulations list 7 main methods of verifying age. It says photo ID checks, face scanning, age estimation tools, credit card checks, digital ID. See? Vouching by the parent of a young person using AI to guess a user's age based on the data the company already has, relying on a third party that has already checked the user's age. So all these things are coming down the pipe, okay? This digital technocracy is basically right in your face, man. Okay? Check this out. Utah looks to launch state-approved digital ID focused on privacy and security. Peep this.
A big change could be coming to how you prove who you are. Utah State is considering rolling out a digital ID to help prove who you are in your online dealings. But with data breaches on the rise, Jim Spiewak asked if this can be a game changer for your online safety and security.
And notice that these things are being done in the name of peace and safety, right? Oh, we want to keep you safe. Oh, we want to protect the children. Right? And this is the hypocrisy of Esau, because they so-called want to, call themselves protecting people, but they giving all kind of money and ammunition to them small hats over there in Gaza to destroy children. All right, to destroy defenseless people, man. But they care about your safety. This man is the devil. All right, but let's continue.
Everyone is born with identity.
You control your identity. You should control your digital identity.
Christopher Bramwell, Utah's chief privacy officer, is leading the state's effort to create a state-endorsed digital identity system, which would provide residents with a verified digital credential proving they are who they say they are.
So someone being able to pretend that they're me probably wouldn't happen.
The whole point of state-endorsed digital identity is to give you control of your identity so nobody can impersonate you.
Bramwell.
And this furthermore goes into Bill Gates's Global Citizen Project, okay, in which he's operating that in many countries in Africa right now, where he basically wants to give every person on the planet a digital ID, so that you can become a global citizen. Like, you'll be able to receive universal basic income, like you'll be able to receive housing. Pretty much you're gonna have to go directly to these technocrats to live. All right. This is also a part of the Club of Rome, the Great Reset agenda. All these things are outlined in that. All right. So this is nothing more than the rolling out of the agenda that they've been pushing, especially hardcore since 2020. But let's continue.
Sees initial uses for digital identity for things like going through TSA or verifying identity for government services. But he also says demand is growing in the private sector.
Why would
going through TSA? Is that why these airports are so chaotic? Could that be a reason why? All right, to why they're not paying these air traffic controllers, these TSA agents, and everybody else, because they're gonna replace it with this right here. Oh, you won't need to wait in lines to get through TSA. All you gotta do is opt into the digital ID, the biometrics, and you can just walk right on through. So you see how these devils are setting it up.
Wouldn't you just use an identity you control to log into services, and you don't have to worry about reset passwords?
Bramwell says once you receive your credential, the state won't know when you use it, and it won't be tracked, but it would be stored securely in something like a digital wallet.
What do we tell people about why this will be secure?
The security is our top priority, but most importantly, how do you recover when there's a security breach without having to do reissuance of identity to everybody in the state?
Utah lawmakers passed Senate Bill 260 this year, which laid the baseline policy that gives individuals the right to digital identity, but not a mandate to opt in. Senator Kirk Cullimore was the bill's sponsor.
Everything is digital now. A lot of what we do, even in interacting with the state, is digital.
With AI advancing rapidly, Cullimore believes many technologies will soon require state endorsement.
Yeah, many of them will soon require state endorsement, which is going to come in the form of mandates. All right. So right now, it's an optional thing. You know what I'm saying? And they're looking to launch it, which, this is what they're going to do. All right. And then they're going to go, they're going to do it in New York. They're going to do it in California, LA, Chicago. Then it's going to go to the rest of these states. You know what I'm saying? It's going to be all 50 states across America that they're going to roll out this digital ID. And guess what? They're going to mandate it. All right. And guess what? People are going to be so desperate because they're going to add incentives. You know what I'm saying? They're going to throw some trinkets out there, throw some treats. Oh, yeah, the first 10 million people to sign up for the digital ID, like you'll get a free pass to Disney World or some shit, man. All right. Or you'll get VIP access to sporting events or concerts or whatever the case. All right. Same thing they did during the when they had rolled out the serpent venom. They was giving out, yeah, well, if you go take the serpent venom, we'll give you a free cheeseburger, fries, and a drink. Like they was really doing that shit. And guess what? People really went and did it. And that shows you how simple-minded, how dumb that these Americans are. All right, that they'll sell their soul for a damn cheeseburger. Okay? So you can't feel sorry for these people, man. And ultimately, you've been warned. Right? You've been warned by the men of the Lord that these things were coming down the pipe. And here we are. That's why we show you these things. You know what I'm saying? Through the Spirit. Let's get Psalms 36. Because this, you know what I'm saying? Esau is a damn devil, man. Wickedness of men and loving kindness of Yahweh. Psalms 36:1, to the chief musician, the Psalm of David, the servant of the Lord. The transgression of the wicked saith within my heart, that there is no fear of the Most High before my eyes. For he flattereth himself in his own eyes, until his iniquity be found to be hateful. The words of his mouth are iniquity and deceit. Oh, we're doing this in the name of peace and safety. Our main priority is safety. We want to help people. We want to keep children safe online. We want to find child predators. before they get abducted. All right. We want to put a chip in your children so that if they do get kidnapped, that we will know exactly where they are. All right. The words of his mouth are iniquity and deceit. He has left off to be wise and to do good. He deviseth mischief upon his bed. He setteth himself in a way that is not good. He abhorreth not evil. See? So Esau, he abhorred not evil, man. He setteth himself in a way that is not good. All right. And when you read Habakkuk, the 2nd chapter, it tells you that the soul, hold on. Yeah, Habakkuk 2 and 4. Behold, his soul, which is lifted up, is not upright in him, but the just shall live by his faith. So the soul, the spirit that is in this man is not upright. Okay, it's perverse. It's crooked. All right, because even when Esau tries to so-called do something good, because he's doing this in the name of peace and safety, even that, his true intention is to make you a digital slave. Okay, that, you know what I'm saying, that's what he really wants to do, but he's sugarcoating it to make it seem like this is going to be something beneficial and convenient for you. All right. Verse 5, yeah. Also because he transgresseth by wine, he is a proud man, neither keepeth at home, who enlargeth his desire is hell, and is as death. Everything this man do leads to death. Okay, there's nothing that Esau produced that leads to life, man, and cannot be satisfied, but gathereth unto him all nations, and heapeth unto him all people. All right. So this is where we at. Okay. Salaki, you know, the man of sin, okay, is being revealed, because when you look at this whole fourth industrial revolution, who's at the forefront of it? It's Esau, okay, the so-called white man. More specifically, the small hats, all right? Larry Fink, you know, Klaus Schwab, Yuval Harari, you know what I'm saying, Jeff Bezos, and, you know, all these other individuals that are at the forefront of pushing this technology. All right, because this is going to be the way for them to fully control the people. You see, when you go here, all right, because this place Babylon the Great, as we say, is going out of business. All right, more than 2,700 stores are closing across the U.S. this year. Okay, so 2,700 stores, man, it's just gone. More than 10 retail brands have said they're closing U.S. stores this year, totaling over 2,700 locations. Twice bankrupt. Party. How the hell you go twice bankrupt 2 times, man? Is the largest chain on the list with 700 stores facing closure. Carter's is the latest company to announce store closure. Yes, so this again is a indicator that America is going out of business and that the economy is not strong. And this retail apocalypse has been going on for quite some time, because I remember back in like I want to say like late 2015, 16, around that time, you know, the retail apocalypse was going on. I was like 18, 19, and but you know what I'm saying, it was even a lot of stores closing then. You know what I'm saying? Like, it just got worse now, but you know what I'm saying, this thing been going on for a long time. You know? Yeah, 2,700. A lot of the current number is slightly up. Is up slightly from last year's total, but down from 2023, when the collapse of Bed Bath & Beyond contributed to the shuttering of more than 2,800 locations. God damn. Okay. Then you go here. All right, Denny's is out of there. All right, check this out. Bye Denny's restaurant shuts its doors for good after 72-year-old chain sells off all 1,300 locations. And I've never been to Denny's, you know, like, you know, I'm not sure what the hype is, or, you know, but I mainly see Edomites go there. But they going out of business. Okay, 72 years. Sold off all the 1,300 locations. And again, this is a lot of jobs that are being lost. You know what I'm saying? Like for a whole franchise to close down, that's a lot of jobs that are being lost to the economy. All right. You see financial struggles, rising costs, and other challenges have led to these closures across the country. And there's many more. Okay. Red Lobster is another one. A lot of steakhouses are closing down because with the economy so bad, people not trying to go out and spend money like that. You know what I'm saying? People trying to save as much as they possibly can. More people are cooking at home. People are traveling less. So a lot of businesses that once kept the economy up, they're going under because consumer spending is at an all-time low. You see? When you go to Isaiah 24, all right? Even like you go to the club now. You know what I'm saying? Like you go to the club now, like the club don't even hit like it used to. I don't go to the club, but when I would DJ and stuff, like, what I'm saying, it's like it just don't it just don't hit no more, man. Especially after the pandemic. You know what I'm saying? Stuff is just trash. Everybody on their phone, and ain't nobody really interacting, dancing. You know what I mean? Isaiah 24:7. The new wine mourneth, the vine languisheth, all the merry hearted do sigh. The mirth of Tabrus ceases, the noise of them that rejoice endeth, the joy of the harp ceases. They shall not drink wine with a song, strong drink shall be bitter to them that drink it. The city of confusion is broken down, which is America, Babylon the Great. Every house is shut up, that no man may come in. There is a crying for wine in the streets. All joy is darkened. The mirth of the land is gone. Right? So people losing jobs, like just the American experience is not what it used to be. You know what I mean? Like I know like back in the days before my time, but my people are telling me like, yeah, back in like the the 80s, the 90s, like you could just walk up to a house party, walk in, like what I'm saying, like you dance, you drink, you have fun, make some new friends and all of that. Like that ain't happening no more. You know what I'm saying? That's why the scriptures say there is a crying for wine in the streets. All joy is darkened. The mirth of the land is gone. There's no more mirth. There's no more happiness. People, you know what I'm saying? People are not as happy as they used to be. And the city is left desolation, and the gate is smitten with destruction. And this is the judgment of Yahweh Bashmi Shah upon Babylon the Great, man. There is no healing this place. Okay. We're at the tail end of this society. And all the signs are there. Okay. All your favorite restaurants are closing down. All your favorite, bars or, what I'm saying? Just everything is just going down, man. You know what I'm saying? You get Jeremiah 50th chapter. Jeremiah 50 and verse 8. It says, remove out of the midst of Babylon, and go forth out of the land of the Chaldeans, and be as the he-goats before the flocks. For lo, I will raise and cause to come up against Babylon an assembly of great nations from the north country, and they shall set themselves in array against her. From thence she shall be taken. Their arrows shall be as of the mighty expert man. None shall return in vain. And Chaldea shall be a spoil. All that spoil her shall be satisfied, saith the Lord. You know what I'm saying? I didn't even really mean to get that. I meant to get Jeremiah 51, but that's still good as well. So the spirit, because this place is going to be taken over by invading foreign nations, and ultimately Yahweh Shah when he return with the hosts of heaven. Jeremiah 51 in verse 6, flee out of the midst of Babylon and deliver every man his soul. Be not cut off in her iniquity, for this is the time of the Lord's vengeance. He will render unto her a recompense. Babylon hath been a golden cup in the Lord's hand, that made all the earth drunken. The nations have drunken of her wine, therefore the nations are mad. Babylon is suddenly fallen and destroyed. How for her? Take balm for her pain. If so, she may be healed. We would have healed Babylon, but she is not healed. Forsake her, and let us go everyone into his own country. For her judgment reacheth unto heaven, and is lifted up even to the skies. See, so people are leaving America. That's a big thing going on right now. People, the heathen are leaving it, and they going back home. So even Americans that was born here, they're looking to relocate somewhere else because why? They see that this place can't be healed. Okay, this right here should tell you that this place can't be healed, man. Whole franchises, whole businesses just going out of business, man. 72 years gone, and they ain't coming back. Your shopping malls are pretty much dead now. Stores closing down left and right because they can't make no money. So what does that tell you about the economy? That the economy is doing bad and we're coming into a depression scenario. You know what I'm saying? So all these things are outlined in biblical prophecy, and it's only getting worse. This place can't be healed. You know what I'm saying? So the Lord's going to continue to break this place down. Call Halal Yahweh Bashmel Shai, and we about to get out of here soon. So keep the faith. Keep striving. For the masteries in Yahweh Bashmel Shai, rehearsing the righteous acts. Praying for one another. Staying in the faith, staying in the spirit. So with that, I'm going to go ahead and close out right here, Lord willing. This lesson was edifying through the Rakah Kadash. Call Halal Yahweh Bashmel Shai Basham Rakah Kadash. And until next time, shalom to the elect.